Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a new project in today, and it's not a Rogue. It is another one of these Mustang thingamadoohickeys. I don't think it was like a street takeover type deal. I think something got rear-ended. Basically, we're gonna need a quarter, which we have. I'll show you in a minute. Obviously, it's in there pretty good. I believe he's got new wheels and tires for it. This is not my car. I'm doing this for a friend of mine. But other than that, obviously a quarter panel. He's already got the windows out for me, so we're good to go there. Door jambs, door gaps, all that stuff. Everything looks good. Door works good. Drives fine. Other than that, it's mostly just cosmetic. I haven't been in the trunk yet, and I guess we're not getting in there just yet. Well, it still works anyways. That's a plus. Yeah, we definitely got some issues going on in here, but it doesn't look terrible. So we do have a deck lid in color. We have a rear bumper cover in color, and we got a quarter panel in color. Granted, that's not going to make a whole lot of difference because we're going to have to paint it, but we should have just enough to do whatever we're going to do. So we're going to get this thing in the shop. We're going to get the rocker panels off of it, or the rocker moldings off of it. We're going to get up on the pinch weld clamps, get it on the frame machine obviously, and start yanking this back section out and kind of pull it back to a good starting point, I suppose you could say. And then from there, I don't know. Not quite sure. We'll figure it out when we get there, but hang tight and we'll get her set up. Alright guys, got a question for you. Right now this thing's got black wheels on it, and they're just spray painted stock Mustang wheels. So Jamie ordered silver wheels. He thinks it needs silver. I'm up in the air on it. He's wanting to know if I would paint the hood scoop and the spoiler silver to match the new wheels. And I can't decide if that would look good or if that would just look like he bought a silver hood scoop and a silver spoiler and we're too cheap to paint it blue to match the car. Right now we have a blue spoiler and a black spoiler. So I don't know what we're going to do. I can't decide on the silver. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would it look neat or would it look cheap? I don't know. Let me know. Alright guys, got her all racked up and ready to do something. What? I don't really know yet. So, I mean, first glance, now that it's up in the air, you can definitely see that the whole left rear is sunk down. I already measured from bumper to bumper here. We got 2 inches drop in this corner. At first glance, this thing didn't look too bad. You know, it looked like it cleared the frame rail and it was just a quarter panel, little inner quarter panel structure work. But now that we're up in the air, we obviously got a real good buckle right here in this frame rail. We got another buckle right here in this frame rail, and we've got another buckle right here in this frame rail. Now I have an entire quarter out there with all that frame rail. Obviously I don't want to get into it that deep. I'm hoping we can pull this back for the most part. If I replace the tail of it, that's not a big deal. But all the way up into here and the suspension and all that, and you know, now you're talking dropping the rear end out of it and all the suspension out of it, and it's just not something I want to get into. So we are going to attempt to pull it, but I think for starters we are just going to grab hold of some of this structure here and get it yanked out and start getting this quarter panel back out where, you know, it came from basically, so we can get a little better look at things inside. I believe he's got new mufflers for it, so we're going to cut this muffler off and get it out of the way, and then just see what we end up with, because there ain't no playbook to fixing a wrecked quarter panel on a Mustang. You just make this up as you go. So I'm going to get set up and we're going to yank on some stuff, see if we can break some stuff. Alright, before we get any deeper into pulling on that, because there's not really a lot to pull, it's pretty much a mangled up mess. This is our clip that we're going to use, and I wanted to see, where they cut theirs at. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get a little medieval on this section right here with Sawzall, and just get as much of that bent up stuff out of the way. Maybe then we can get a hold of some, the actual sheet metal with some clamps and do a little more tugging and get it back closer. But right now, I think we're just going to hack it up. Alright, so we got that section cut off and out of our way so we can see a little bit more what's going on. I'm going to get the light on here. So what we're after here is this inner structure, basically the floor, and this panel here, which is basically the inner wheel well. That's what I'm going to try to save. Honestly, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. There's no use pulling on anything more until I get some of this crap out of the way. Basically what we're after is we're after that frame rail. We need to get that frame rail straightened back out, but we might as well get all the load off of it. So we're just working with that frame rail. So what we're doing now, my new plan of attack, and like I said, it's part of being a frame man. You don't know what the correct way is to do it. You just do it whatever you got to do. So I got all the spot wheels drilled out through here and down through here, because I know we're replacing the outer quarter panel. That's obvious. This inner structure, like I said, we're going to try to get in here. We're trying to get to this mess here where it's all bent up. But I can't really do it without removing this quarter. And since it's got to come off anyways, we're just going to get it off now, and then we can get in there and get more to the inner structure. So I'm going to make some cuts, and we'll get going. So this last piece here that I just took off, that is going to be the problem with reusing a used quarter panel on this car, because it's pretty much panel bonded or glued on there, crimped over. It's not going to come apart nicely, but I'll deal with that when I get there. So now we can, man, really starting to see what we got going on now, and that's a lot of bent stuff. Like I said, I have an entire quarter, so I mean we can keep going in and just replacing sections until it's right, I guess. We'll figure out something. Okay, so after some further investigation, basically I got two problems. The frame rail is down and obviously 2 inches lower. But this section here took a hit right in this corner, and now it's got the whole inner structure pushed up. So I gotta figure out a way to get this kind of back the best I can before I start replacing stuff. So we're gonna do a downward pull on this section and see if it'll walk this. I mean, this is as down as I can go right now anyways. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's not gonna pull real hard right here because I'm only on the outer layer, I'm not on the inner, so I don't really know what's gonna happen. It's trying. I wish I could get a better bite on that. I know what's going to happen. It's going to take a bite and it's going to rip this section right out if I put any more force on it. So, I need to get a hold of the inner layer and the outer layer at the same time. I'm going to have to make some modifications to the body. That's what I'm thinking. Well, we're back and it's a new week, Monday, and I tell you, this is the last thing I want to work on a Monday. This thing is definitely being challenging. This floor here is just completely frickin', yeah. This here, yeah. Up here, yeah. Buckled here, yeah. Buckled here, yeah. I'm not sure exactly what this is supposed to look like up in here, but anything I do back here is just bending the crap out of everything up here, which I can't have. This needs to stay where it is. So I think we're probably at our end as far as what we're going to do as far as pulling on this section. We're just going to have to figure out a way to replace it. Problem is, this section is the entire shell of the car. This outer does not separate. It goes all the way up and through the entire vehicle. So we're going to have to make a seam somewhere up in here, take this outer off, go into the inner, take the inner out, go in there, fix this floor. But for now, I want to see if we can get this buckle out of this frame rail. You can see we got a pretty good buckle right there. This mount here is down about a little over 1/4 of an inch. So, and the back of the rail is down 2 inches, but most of that is at the frame rail right here. And I don't think that's going to pull out. So we're going to do a couple pulls here on the frame rail and see what we end up with. Because if I have to replace that frame rail, I really don't know if this car's worth the trouble. So let's just see what it does here. It definitely doesn't seem like it's got a lot of pressure, so it's definitely moving easy enough. Evidently I forgot to tighten them down. It's definitely giving right there, you can see it. I think that about took care of it. Give her a little pass. $18 3/4 on that side. I think that's what the other side was. Yeah, 18 7/8. So if we're 1/8 of an inch shy yet. We're 1/16 of an inch short. Calling that close enough. Well, we're definitely running out of bent parts, that's for sure. So now all that problem is solved. Still got to work on this corner here where the trunk lid bolts. Did save the frame rail, a little heat, and put some pressure on that thing and it pulled it back out. It took about 2 hours, but it's probably about the same amount of time versus cutting it and replacing it. So yeah. Now we need to get some work back behind this filler neck here. This is all pulled away from the frame rail. There's a gap about that big, and it's not supposed to be, so I'm gonna keep hitting stuff with hammers. I got all this corner back in here where it's supposed to be. I mean, everything's getting within range. Until I get some new parts hanging, I'm not gonna know for sure how close I am, but I've got one last issue to deal with, and that is this whole mess right here. Obviously our deck is getting pretty weak here, but it is what it is. Got to do what we got to do. So it looks like if I drill these spot welds out here, here, and here, it looks like this whole section here is going to slide out from underneath of this. So that's what we're going to attempt. So we'll get the drill fired up here and we'll get drilling some holes. All right, well, I think that's it for today, day 2. Anyways, day 3 tomorrow. I'm gonna spend a little time on Jacob's car, get that finished up, and then we're going to get the new quarter. I got the new quarter in the shop here yesterday, so we're gonna start getting this thing drilled apart, get the quarter, the skin off of it, and then start dissecting this kind of the same way we did that one, and then just start piecing it back together. So, see you tomorrow. Well, we spent the day yesterday getting the new quarter panel all pulled off the clip, and that's all ready to go. We also got the inner wheel well area off of the new clip and kind of set onto this one and trimmed up to fit for the most part. I'm pretty happy with all of it except for kind of just back in this area here. But it's way close enough. All the important parts are lined up good, so I spent like an hour kicking and shoving and hitting stuff with hammers to get this, now that I know what it's supposed to look like, I can adjust this to fit the new piece. So today I think we are going to get this thing on and see if I can get this section burned in, and that'll probably be about it for this week, just because it's like 93 degrees outside and the air's not on in here right now because I'm not going to be here too long. We're going to get a couple self-tappers in here to hold everything in place and get everything lined up how we want it. As far as getting this section lined up, we're just going back to our original spot welds and making sure those are for the most part lined up. Everything up here is lined up good. We got our seam made down here. Again, spot welds are lined up down here, so that tells me at least this section is in the right area, and then we'll make it fit. So get her all clamped down and fire up the old welder again. Let's get the battery disconnected. Well, it's Saturday morning and we are back on this monster for a little while just because it's hot outside and there's nothing to really do. So last night we got that extension or the inner wheel well put in like we talked about. Went through, cleaned up all the welds, hit it with some Rust-Oleum primer, nothing special because that's technically inside. It's not going to be exposed to the elements. This morning we're out here. We got all of our contact areas cleaned up all the way around the area where the new quarter panel is going to go on. I spent a couple hours last night cutting and fitting and shoving and hitting and all that good stuff, and got the new quarter panel on for the most part. It's ready to go. We got the quarter panel this morning cleaned up. We got our weld through primer on the areas that we're going to weld. We're going to do a combination of panel bond, screws, vice grips, and welding to put this together. I like using panel bond on these seams, especially around the wheel well and the lower area here. Even with the weld through primer, I don't think it's going to do a whole lot of good for corrosion protection. So with panel bond on here, it's going to seal all this metal up, and then we'll get it on the car. We'll get her all glued up and screwed up, and then probably do a little welding on it today, but not a whole lot. So anyways, I'm going to get set up and we'll get going. All right, so we got our panel bond all opened up here. What is it, the 088115. This stuff is getting expensive. I think this was like 80 bucks for this tube now. It used to be about 50, but it's going to save a lot of labor. So we are going to go through and basically put on a bead all the way through the bare metal. And what we're going to use, I just like to use a cheap little chip brush that we just buy them at Menards, and cut them off with the tin snips to make a nice stiff bristle. Basically what we're going to do is put a bead on all the bare metal, and then take that little chip brush and cover all the metal, and this is going to seal it up so it doesn't corrode. And don't rush this stuff. This stuff takes 24 hours to set up fully, so you got plenty of time to work with it. And then we're going to do the same thing on the quarter panel itself. So at this point now we got all the bare metal covered, except for right here a little bit. And then from there we're ready for the final, basically the final application, which is going to be a nice 1/4 inch bead all the way through the contact area. So just layer on there. And this is the part that's going to hold it all together. Then you want to get yourself some rubber gloves, because no matter how good you think you are, you're going to end up with this crap all over the place. See? Told you. So now we got everything set in place. We're actually going to pull this vice grip off here quick. Just going to check our door gap, make sure everything's cool there, which it is. Actually looks really good. So we have a series of basically vice grips, as you can see, and then these are stainless steel self-tapper screws to get to the areas where you can't clamp, basically. And then back here, obviously, vice grips galore, screws through here because we can't get to the back side of it. But just be pre-warned that sometimes these screws don't come back out. You end up breaking the heads off them because the panel bond actually glues them in there so strong they don't come back out. But so now we need to turn our attention to this wheel lip here. Originally this was folded up and around and pinched, and we had to unbend it. It's kind of a mess. It's going to be what it's going to be. And we'll just have to finish with body work. So I get the trunk lid on here, make sure our body lines are good. Threw a couple of the bumper bolts in the frame right here to pull that section nice and tight. It's actually really good with a little hammer and dolly up in this area here, but I need to get this set here, and that's why I need the trunk lid on. Gap's pretty good there so far. It's a little wider on the right side, but it's not much. I mean, just about a 1/16, so that's kind of where it wants to sit. Let's check the top. It's just a little tighter towards the back right here. Might hit it with a hammer a couple times. So let's get a couple tacks on this back section here to hold this together nice and tight. And then we can maybe throw a tail light in it, make sure everything's good that way. Everything looks, for the most part, good enough. I mean, I got my gap up here is nice. I got a nice gap around the taillight. It's a little fatter than this taillight, probably about maybe 1/8 of an inch, but I can't bring that in. And this is just an eBay taillight, so it's a used aftermarket, whatever, cheap piece of crap. So there's nothing really to adjust there without bringing the quarter panel in. We don't want to do that because that's going to tighten our gap up here, which we don't want. So I think we're going to, I think we're just going to run with it. I think it's good enough. All right, let's get welding. Well, that's about it for the Saturday. Got the trunk lid back off it. It was in my way. Our door gaps and everything look good there, so I think we're about done. Everything's welded. Panel bond is setting up. It's about set up right now, but we'll give it a good 24 hours to really cure. And then Monday we'll go at it with the grinder, get all the seams cleaned up, get some epoxy on it, and then we'll get it over to the prep station, get some body work done, and then we'll start getting it ready for paint. So anyways, that's it for this week, guys. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.